I just shorted a company that beat earnings and raised its guidance. Here's why. So let me just quickly show you the chart here. The company in question is Adobe. I'll explain the reasons why I took this short. First of all, you can see that it's in this longer term downtrend here, but primarily the reason why I initiated this short was the fact that it broke down through this trend line that you can see I've marked out that's going back a long period of time. It broke down through this trend line on Wednesday with larger volume. So this was extra confirmation that this was a strong move down. Now I have marked out support zones as well as invalidation levels. So first of all, the invalidation level here I've marked out around the 206 level. The reason for this area is that this will indicate a potential break above the recent swing high. This will have to occur also on larger volume to give me extra confidence that this is a clear break of trend. On the support zones, I've marked out the 192 level as well as the 185 level, and you can see that it's bouncing off this level as expected. I anticipate that this is going to be a short-term bounce, not something sustained, but we shall see. The next support zone I marked out on the 185 level, and I will go into this level in the trade structure of the open interest block. If I just move to the weekly chart, you can see this move in a longer time frame, and you can see the trend line that it's going back to around June 24. This week, the volume has declined and the move has been short. I'll put this down to two different reasons. One is that it is a shorter week this week, and the other is that it's hitting off these support zones. So I do expect a bit of slowing down in the move. But again, not something I expect that will be a reversal zone necessarily, but we shall see. If it does hit the invalidation level, I will change my opinion. Now, the IGV chart is the software sector ETF. You can see that this is breaking down through a consolidation level here that I've previously marked out. The next support zone is around this 83 level that I've marked out. It's got a bit of room to go down. It is bouncing off the 100 SMA, and you can see that these moves down are on increasing volume. So it is a strong move down. So this is acting as a tailwind for Adobe move. Adobe did report earnings quite recently. It did record revenue. It had an EPS beat, and also it raised its guidance, but the stock still fell after. But it's not a broken company in my opinion. It's just meaning that the momentum and the sentiment is breaking down. Now let me just quickly show you the trade structure that I put on here. So if I just move to my platform and I'll show you the options chain. So what I've done here is I've set up a time-based structure that profits from a drift moving down based on time. So you can see here that it's a two-legged structure. And effectively, I've set it up in that I have a long put on 64 days to expiration at the 195 strike. I expect a move down looking at this leg. I do have a second leg here, which is short at the 185 level at the 29 days expiration. I expect a move down from this point, but it's going to hit some support level around the 185. I expect this to be a short-term bounce, and I do expect the move to be continuing on down. Another reason why I placed this short put at this strike was that you can see that there is a large open interest block here that is quite significantly larger than the other strikes around it. This is indicating that there is liquidity at this zone, confirming that this is a support zone. I expect that it's going to stall this move down at least temporarily. That's the reasoning why I placed this structure, just to give some context. Earnings on Adobe are coming out, I believe, the first week of September. This is all happening prior to that, so I'm not going to be affected by any IV crush spanning over an earnings report. This trade isn't about being right on direction, albeit I do have a directional bias. It's about reading the volume, the sector tailwind, and looking at the options chain. Now, that's why I chose this structure that fits these conditions. So the conviction comes from the framework. That's what I got for you. If anything in this video resonated with you, here's where you can find more. This is Verstrata, a free community for traders building consistency through a documented process. Not predictions, not tips, not signals. Inside, you will see daily market briefings. You will see trade ideas with rationale. So a daily market briefing example here, you can see a breakdown of what I'm watching and why. You can see a position update post where I break down trade ideas with my rationale. Everything is documented, every position, every pass, every gap that I missed. Also, is that I look to post on a weekly basis my breakdown of the week, uh, including my performance, whether I stuck to my process, whether I broke my process, any gaps in my process, and I mark that and score that against my own process adherence checklist. As well, in the community, I also have a trading plan template, which is actually a framework that I built and use myself. This is available to every member. I also have a process adherence checklist, which is basically a checklist that I rank myself against weekly of whether I'm following my process or whether I'm breaking it, and where I am breaking it and where I need to improve on. Here are examples of the trading plan. So it marks out pre-market preparation, etc. Here's an example of the process adherence checklist. You can see different criteria that I mark myself against, whether I define my exit before every entry, and I give myself a score every week to see areas where I may need to improve on. As well as that, I'm building out a list of case studies, going into in-depth, breaking down the exact case study detail, where I'm describing my rationale, reason why I got into it, adjustments and managements that I make. And you can see here, here's an example where I go into in-depth and again call out specifically where I made these trades. So they're all relating back to timestamps. So these are not after the fact decisions. These are made in real time, and you can see they relate back to exact time-stamped posts that I made in my community. So if you ever felt stuck cycling through systems that work in back tests but break in live markets, this is the kind of place I built to fix that. You're very welcome inside. Link to join is in the descriptions below.